Hey friends, let's learn how to play all the guitar chords for beginners. This is a must-know guitar lesson if you're starting out on guitar. I'll also show you the best fingers to use for each chord and how to speed up your transitions between the chords. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe for heaps of free lessons to come. So the chords we're going to learn are E minor, E, A minor, A, D, C, D minor and F. I'm Michael from Essential Guitar Lessons, and let's jump into these must-know chords. Stick around to the end of the lesson and I'll give you a heap more 7th chords as well. Now before you start, make sure you cut your fingernails back so they're not coming over the tips of your fingers. Now when we talk about major chords, we don't say A major or G major, we just say A or G or C. When we're talking about minor chords, we do say the minor, so it'd be A minor or D minor, and we use a lowercase m, so we know the difference between major and minor. Now don't try and learn all these at once, pick 2 or 3, spend a week or 2, then move on. So let's have a look at our hand position now. With our left hand, make a claw. It's almost like you're grabbing a tennis ball. We want our fingers bent over. We don't want them popping in. Now we do with some chords like the F, but when we get to that, I'll show you what's happening there. With your thumb, you don't have to have that right down with your wrist down. Now some people will say that, but I find with beginners the neck feels like it wants to keep moving when you're changing chords when you do that. And if you watch most people play their chords, their thumb is fairly high up and coming over the neck. Just make sure you're not touching the top E string when you're doing that. Also, your fingers don't have to be perfectly straight to the fret when you're doing a chord. They can be on an angle there. Just make sure you're playing on the very tips of your fingers, and we want to be playing at the front of the fret, or as close as we can get, because some chords we've got 2 notes on the same fret, so we can't get right to the front. The most important step when learning chords is to do them the same way every single time. That way you're building muscle memory. So if I was to play my E minor chord, I'd put my 2nd finger down first on the 2nd fret on the A string, then my 3rd finger down on the 2nd fret on the D string. And every time I do it that same way every single time. Now you can do it the other way, that's okay. You can put your 3rd finger down first if that feels more comfortable. Just make sure you do it that way every single time. As you get better and better, and as you get that muscle memory, your fingers will start to go onto the strings at the same time, and you don't have to walk them on. But when you first start, it's best to walk them on and make sure you do it the same way every single time. So let's learn the chords, and then we'll look at the best way to practice them. So let's start with our E minor chord, probably the easiest chord out of all of them to get. We're going to take our 2nd finger, place that on the A string or 5 up from the bottom on the 2nd fret. Now this is one of those chords where we can't be right to the front of the fret because our 3rd finger is also on the 2nd fret but on the string below on the D string. Remember, be on the tips of your fingers and try and get your 3rd finger as close to the front of the fret as you can. We play all the strings and we're just holding down the 2nd fret there. So that's our E minor chord. Now the best way to practice these chords is to place it on. Now remember what we said, start with your 2nd finger, then the 3rd finger, or you can do it your 3rd finger, your 2nd finger, just do it the same way every single time. Now hop on your E minor chord, we do 4 strums, take your hands off and then put that shape back on again. 2nd finger, 2nd fret on the A string, 3rd finger, 2nd fret on the D string, strum 4 times, take it off and put that shape on again. So that's the best way to learn your chords. Now from E minor, we're going to learn E or E major. Now this is really easy. We've already got our 2 fingers on for E minor. We just have to add our 1st finger on the 1st fret on the G string, or 3 up from the bottom. Make sure you're on the tips of your fingers, and that is our E there. So if you're starting straight away, go for your second finger first on the A string, second fret, third finger on the D string on the second fret, first finger, first fret on the G string. Take your hand off, get that shape again, do it the same way every single time. Now, as we said, you can put it on a different way if you like. If it feels easier to put your first finger on the first fret on the G string, then your second, then your third, or the third, then the second, that is completely fine. Just make sure you do it that way every single time. So that's our E chord there. We're strumming all the strings again. So A minor is our next chord. This is a really easy one once you can play E, because we just put it all down a string and you've got your A minor there. So second finger on the second fret on the D string this time, third finger on the second fret again on the G string, first finger on the first fret on our B string this time. Now when you strum A minor, we don't want to strum the top E string, so you can use your thumb and place it on that string to mute it there. So our A minor, 4 strums, take it off, do it exactly the same again, put your fingers down the same way every single time. Now let's do the A chord or A major. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. I'll show you what works for me. Because I've got bigger fingers, it's hard to fit them all into one fret. So I do it this way here. I use my second finger on the D string on the second fret, my third finger also on the second fret but a string below on the G string, and my little finger also on the second fret but this time on the B string. So you're not going to get your second and third finger to the front of the fret there because your little fingers there. Just go as close as possible. Now I use this version because I find it too hard to fit my first, second and third finger in. Now you can also do it this way here where we're using our second finger on the D string, my first finger on the G string and my third finger on the B string, all on the second fret. Each way is correct, it doesn't matter, find which works best for you. So we've got A, placing our fingers down second, third and fourth. Try not to strum the top string with this one as well. 4 strums, take your hand off, do it the same way again. 4 strums, take your hand off. Now let's try D. This is a really common chord and used in heaps of songs. So the best way to get your D, start with your second finger on the second fret on our bottom E string, first finger on the second fret also, but this time we're on the G string, so 3 up from the bottom, and our third finger, this time on the third fret on the B string, and that's our D chord. So when we play that, we don't want to play the top 2 strings now. So we're just strumming the bottom 4 strings with the D chord. Take your hand off, put it on the same way once again. Second finger, second fret on the bottom E, first finger, second fret on the G, third finger, third fret on the B string. So we strum that 4 times as usual, take your hand off and then place it back on again. So 4 strums, not playing the top 2 strings. Take your hand off, back on again, second finger, second fret on the E, first finger, second fret on the G, third finger on the B string, third fret. And as always, if you find a better way for you to do it, that is completely fine. Just do it that way every single time. Hand off, back on the same way again. Now let's look at G or G major. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. I'm going to show you an easy way for the beginner. And the best way to start with this is third finger, third fret on the bottom E string, then go for your second finger on the top string, also on the third fret, and then our first finger on the second fret on the A string, or 5 up from the bottom there, and we're strumming all the strings again there for G. Now, when most people start this, they really struggle with this chord and they don't like it. After a while of playing it, it normally becomes their favourite chord. So G, third finger, third fret on the bottom, second finger, third fret on the top, first finger, second fret on the A string. Make sure to be on the tips of your fingers here. We don't want to mute that string there. 4 strums, hand off, 4 strums again. Now, if you are muting the strings, don't worry too much. It takes a little bit of time for your hand to get into the shapes. The longer you do it, the easier it becomes, and you'll find you come around further on your fingertips. So if it is happening to you, it's normally because your hand is flat or your fingers are flat. You're not quite on your fingertips there, and you're blocking strings. So get right on your fingertips, bring your hand around a little bit more, right on the fingertips, and we're hearing all the strings. Now, a hard one for most beginners is C. This is the first time we're stretching over 3 frets. So we're going to start with our first finger this time, first fret on the B string, our second finger on the second fret on the D string, so we're skipping a string, then our third finger on the third fret on the A string. So there's a bit of a stretch there now. We're stretching over 3 frets, and again, we don't want to play the top string with C. Right on the tips of your fingers. This is a hard one for most beginners. If you're going flat, you'll mute strings there, so bring your hand closer, right on the tips of your fingers, 4 strums, hand off, back on again, first finger, first fret on the B, second finger, second fret on the D, third finger, third fret on the A, and 4 strums there. So that is a really difficult chord when you first start. It's the first time we're stretching over 3 frets. So just take your time, put your fingers down the same way, and get right on the tips of your fingers every time you do it. So let's also have a look at D minor now. This time we're going to take our first finger, place that on the first fret on our bottom E string, then your second finger, second fret on the G string, so we're skipping a string again, and then our third finger on the third fret on the B string. So again, we're stretching over 3 frets, so it's a little bit harder for most beginners again. This time we're not playing our top 2 strings, just the bottom 4 strings again there. Make sure you're right on your tips of your fingers. Your thumb can come over if that's easier, or you can place that down for D minor as well there. Hand off, back on again. First finger, first fret. Second finger, second fret on the G string. Third finger, third fret on the B string, and 4 strums there. Now the dreaded F chord. This is the one everyone hates when they first start playing, but again is a really popular chord, so we want to be able to do it. Now with all our other chords, we've kept our fingers bent. We don't want them to pop in any way there. The F is a little bit different. We are going to bend our finger in for our bottom 2 strings. So we want to try and get the first part of our finger straight, and then a bend here with our finger, and we're going to cover the bottom 2 strings. So you can see my finger is bending in this time, and then I've got a bend here. We don't want our finger straight, because then you won't be able to reach. We need that bend here, and then a bend again here. We're on the first fret, covering both the B and the E string. Then we take our second finger, and that goes on the second fret on the G string, then our third finger on the third fret on the D string, and again with F, we don't want to play the top 2 strings. And that's our F there. Much easier if you have your fingers off on an angle. It's really hard to get right if you're trying to straighten your fingers up, and again, you can have your thumb over the top there for that one. So we want our finger straight here at the first knuckle, then bent at the second, covering both the first and the second string. Second finger, second fret on the G string. Third finger, third fret on the D string, and that's our F chord. Now don't worry if you're really struggling with that one. It is a hard one when you first start. Get all your other chords right, work on those, then come back to your F and spend a bit of time on F. Playing, hand off, 4 strums, back on again, hand off, 4 strums. So now let's have a look at playing through, joining them all together in a nice easy way to do that. So we're going to start with the E minor chord. Remember, place it on the same way every single time. 4 strums on that. Then we're going to go straight to the E chord. Nice and easy, we don't have to lift our fingers off. Straight on with our first finger, 4 strums there. Straight to A minor after that, we just lift all our fingers off and put them down a string for A minor. Now to get to our A, lift your first finger off, place your little finger on the B string, 2nd fret. So they're all really easy transitions. E minor, place your first finger on for E, all down a string for A minor, little finger on for A. Now they get a little bit trickier, we have to jump and go back to doing them the same way we do it every time. So then we've got D, 4 strums, we have G, 4 strums, C, lift your whole hand up, go for your first finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret first. D minor, just drop your first finger down to the bottom E string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret, 3rd finger, 3rd fret on the B string, 4 strums there, and then our F there. So when you first start doing that, you're going to have big gaps between the chords, and the idea is to get that gap out. So we don't want to strum fast. The faster I strum, the faster I have to change the chords. So once you've been playing them for a little while, you try and do it without putting any stops in between your chords. So we start with E minor, and we keep our strumming slow, 4 strums, E, 4 strums, all down for A minor, 4 strums, A, little finger. Now D, go for your 2nd finger first on the bottom, E string, G, 3rd finger first, C, 1st finger, walk your others up, D minor, drop your 1st finger, and then our F chord there, that tricky one. So now let's go through all those a little bit quicker. Try not to stop while you're strumming. So E minor, 4 strums, E, drop them all down a string, A minor, A, little finger on, to D, 2nd finger first, G, 3rd finger down the bottom, C, 1st finger, D minor, drop your 1st finger down, and finishing with our F chord there. So that's going to take you a little bit of time to get used to that. At first you will have gaps between your chords, and that's completely fine. Over time we want to get those gaps out, and if you want to speed that up, start to push it. So as you're playing, don't stop strumming. Even if you're not quite on the chord, keep the strumming going. We want to break the habit of stopping in between chords, which you will do, and that's completely fine when you first start. Once you've been doing it for a while, force your hand to keep strumming the whole time, even if you're not quite on the chord. If you need to, do 8 strums on each chord. That way, if you're going from, say, your A to your D and you're not quite there while you're doing your 4 strums, keep it going, feel comfortable, then go to your G, and try not to put any gaps in between your strumming there. So they're the most popular chords on guitar. They're all open chords there. Now as a bonus, let's throw in the 7th chords as well, still keeping the open. Now I'll go through these fairly quickly for you and put the chord charts up on the screen. Now don't try these until you're fairly comfortable with just our standard open chords. So we have E minor 7. So it's nearly exactly the same as E minor. We're taking our 3rd finger off. You can do it that way, or you can add your little finger on the 3rd fret on the B string there. It gives you a nicer sound there. So that's your E minor 7. E7, fairly easy. Start with E and just take your 3rd finger off and you have E7 there. So E, 3rd finger off, E7. A minor 7 is nearly exactly the same. Start with your A minor, take your 3rd finger off and you have A minor 7 there. So A minor 7. Now A7 again, start with your A and take your 3rd finger off. So we now got the open G string. Depending on which way you're playing A, we want the G string now open. Now D7's a little bit trickier. We have our D, This time it's like a backwards D almost. We're going to take our first finger, first fret on the B string this time, second finger, second fret on the G string, and we have to put our third finger on the second fret on the E string as well there. Don't play the top two strings with D7 there. So that's a little bit different to D there. We have D. We're basically taking this note and moving it back to the first fret there, just moving it back a tone, that note. G7 again, a little bit different. We're going to take our first finger, bottom E string, first fret, and then the top half of G stays the same, but this time we're going to use different fingers. So you've got your second finger, second fret on the A string, third finger on the third fret on the top E string, and playing all the strings with G7. So we have G and G7. Now C7's a fairly easy one. We're just adding our little finger on. So we've got C, C7, we're going to add our little finger on the G string on the third fret, and we now have our C7. So C, little finger on, C7. The last one we'll look at is D minor 7. So we have our D minor, and this is nearly exactly the same as our F chord without our third finger. We're going to cover both the first and the second string on our first fret, and take our second finger, second fret on the G string. Don't play the top two strings, and that's our D minor 7. You can use two fingers if you want to, so that'd be first finger on the B string, first fret, second finger, first fret E string, and then you can use your third finger on the second fret on the G string there, and we have D minor 7. Both ways are correct. Just remember when you're doing them, put your fingers down exactly the same way each time there. And that's it. They're the most common chords used on guitar. Remember, give us a like and subscribe for heaps of free songs and lessons. Now, if you would like step-by-step guitar lessons for beginners to advanced players, and learn all the secrets to playing your favourite songs and solos in no time, also heaps of free lessons, click the link below and jump onto Essential Guitar Lessons. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon.